days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that until I lay my head, I will sing goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I know you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Oh, this is my story. All my life you have been faithful. This is my song. All my life I've been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life down, I surrender now, give you everything. Your goodness is running, it keeps running after me. All my days, Jesus. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. The Lord our God is ever faithful. He's never changing through the ages. From this darkness, you will lead us, and forever we will say, you're the Lord. Yes, sir. The Lord our God is, He's faithful and never changes. stop working. You never stop. You never stop. Never stop. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop. You never stop working. You never stop. You never stop working. He's the one who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me. Jesus Christ, my living lost its grip on Jesus Christ, Jesus
Amen. Amen. That's right. Jesus Christ is our living hope. Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Birmingham Bible Church Worldwide. Welcome to our Win Wednesday. It is just so good to see you guys. I'm so glad that you're listening to me on today. We took a time off in the month of July to regroup, to refresh, to revive. We are back in the saddle with a great lineup for month of August and a great lineup here on today. This is our winning Wednesday, and so this is the time where we like to provide some education, some inspiration. So that's right. We want to bring you topics right here for our lives and for our living. And so I don't know how you're watching us, if it's on Facebook or YouTube, Twitter, the My Sunday app, our church website. Thank you for joining us here on today. And can y'all believe it? It is like the month of August. It just seemed like yesterday I was wrapping presents. I mean, this just really flying by. And now the kids are back in school. Well, I think in Georgia, they're back in school. Alabama, I think we go back sometime next week. But, before you be fall, once this heat gets through frying us, but I'm excited about just the month of August to see fall things and fall colors are in the store. But we have a great topic on today. So I need you to do me a favor. Make sure you are tagging some people. If you're on Facebook, do the @ sign and tag some people in the comment section. I need you to text some people because we have a great topic for you here on today. We are going to talk about anxiety. And to me, this is one of those things where you just cannot talk enough about. I was looking at the news this morning, and there was a lady that was actually talking about something with just anxiety and children and getting them back to school. And, as she was talking, I was thinking there's a lot of things that can cause us to be anxious. COVID has been hanging around for a couple of years now. Then now there's monkeypox. I don't keep up with the numbers on that, but apparently those numbers are rising as well. And then inflation, that's been going on for this year. The prices are increasing. I think gas has finally came a little bit down. And then people just have personal issues, whether it's working, whatever, if it's, family stuff. But anxiety is just a part of our lives. It's normal to be anxious. And a lot of times it's not, anxiety is not a bad thing if it's, something pertaining to taking tests or, if you're at work and you're trying to work on a project. But for some people, it's just overwhelming. It becomes really overwhelming. And so in that case, we need to get some help. And so our guest for today is going to give us the help that we need. And so I'm excited to have someone that we always can depend on. We've just talked, periodically throughout the years, and her name is Tammy. I think she is right here in Birmingham, but TC Counseling and Consulting. And so she has her own practice, has her own staff. And so we have always been excited to be a part of the opening she had and what have you. And so, of course, like I said, make sure you're tagging some people, make sure you text some people here in the broadcast, or make sure you share it. But we have some great information, want to get out to you and make sure that we are changing the world. So hello, Tammy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much. I know you're busy, you're super busy, and we appreciate you some time here on day to talk about anxiety. And I made you a co-host, and so you can share. But first of all, before you do that, just kind of introduce yourself. The practice. Of course, we'll get into later on his house and all that stuff. But yeah, go ahead and start. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am Tammy Cauthen, the owner of TC Counseling and Consulting Services, and we have 2 locations in Birmingham, Alabama, one in Inslee, Alabama, and one in Roebuck. And then we have a satellite office in Tuscaloosa. We've been providing services since about 2010 throughout Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, and we're just happy to be here. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I have other counselors that are ALCs, and some of them are also ALPCs.
Awesome. Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us what can be, I guess, maybe even from your experience, you can start talking about, your presentation, but, have you been seeing an increase in, clients coming in for anxiety type issues or?
Yeah, I think, Lady Pam, at this point in life, we all have anxiety, like you said, include me, just
Yeah.
with life. It's nothing that you can avoid. So you definitely got to learn how to handle it and learn how to get some coping skills. I heard you say something about the gas pump, and I was thinking, she said gas going down a little bit. Okay, I put premium in my car. It's still about 4.03 at Sam's. So I'm like, when we say a little bit, look, 10, 15 cents matters now.
That's exactly what it is. It's 10, 15 cents. Yep.
So I'm like, okay, so that does matter. That is a little bit. And like you say, everything with inflation just going up, everybody's just, just really worried about how you're going to make it. And from a household's perspective, I'm sure a lot of people have just had to cut out some of those normal things that they enjoy doing. But also, too, I think for the biggest part of it, like you mentioned, COVID, like that just took us to a whole nother level. And now with this monkeypox, I just don't know what we're gonna like. It's just crazy, like how all these things are coming about, and you know that you got to have faith and believe in God that you're gonna be okay, but you got to do your due diligence and be careful too.
Yeah, you're right. When you talk about cutting things out, I was telling my husband, so at Sam's, bag of cheese, was like $6. And so I saw the block of cheese for like $6. I said, I went home and got the block of cheese and said, y'all gonna start shredding this.
That's right.
It's the little things you gotta out.
And even with them, order pickup. I did order pickup yesterday, and if you're not Prime, if you're not Plus, they want to charge you $4 now for order pickup. I'm
Right.
like, really?
So I understand.
So I have a little small PowerPoint on how to handle anxiety. So let me get it again. Okay. I'm trying to get down this little thing from at the top so I can do the slideshow.
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, I was trying to get in the slideshow mode, but the little thing is at the top. Hold on. Let me move. Bring it down.
You
There we
need
go.
to,
I got
you
it.
need to click on slideshow. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
The
we go.
little black box was at the top, so it wouldn't let me
Oh,
get it. So I had to grab it.
I got you. Okay.
Okay. So basically, like we were kind of just talking about, anxiety is just a feeling of worry, nervousness. Sometimes you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And basically, that's kind of like what me and Pam was talking about right about now. Some things you just don't know what the outcome going to be about life, about just what you have to just pay for in general. If you're going to be able to afford some things that you haven't, that you normally can afford. So that's kind of, what can kind of lead you to anxiety. But just because you have a little worry doesn't mean you're have severe anxiety, though. Okay. So some causes of anxiety, we know that an individual's recognition of demands can start the whole process of anxiety. And that just kind of goes back to what we just been talking about. One little thing can just lead you to just really and truly worrying about, what do I do next? Sometimes anxiety will be a good thing. You may have a new job, so you don't know what to expect from your boss, what's going to happen at your job, so doesn't that it's always a bad thing, but it just kind of, when you get to the point where you have some of these symptoms that we're going to talk about, then that's when you got to start saying, wait a minute, I have too much anxiety. A big one is fatigue. That's very big. Losing sleep, you just nervousness, you just don't know what to do. I put on here fear of being attacked, because sometimes we are in situations where we feel like everybody's attacking us. And that could just even be from a parenting perspective of, everybody needs mom, everybody's running in the house. Hey, I need you to do this. Even being on job, feeling like your boss only depends on you to do everything. Sometimes you have symptoms of anxiety through mental confusion. You're just kind of confused about the situation. We've all had that tension in our shoulders, our neck, when we're kind of really feeling worried. I put on here fear of catching a disease, and I was actually Lady Pam thinking about the monkeypox when I did that. But also too, a lot of us have been blessed to have COVID, but for me, that's kind of one of those things. Like, I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want COVID. I know people who have passed away from it. I know people who still have long-term issues from it. So, that creates worry. And for some people, they have isolated themselves so long that, it's to the point that they're in their house depressed and worried about, if I go outside, will I catch this? I've been seeing a lot of things. I don't know if you've been seeing it, Lady Pam. I've been seeing a lot of things pop up about the monkeypox, about, the symptoms of that. And, but it still goes back to making sure we wash our hands and things like that, of that nature too. So I think we all probably had dry skin by the time we got through sanitizing ourselves down with cold. So now we got something else to worry about. So that definitely creates anxiety. Sometimes trouble breathing, you just can't get your breath, you're so, they also call those kind of sometimes like some people say they've had a panic attack where they just couldn't breathe, or having dizziness, nightmares, feeling sick, increased stress, trouble sleeping, tossing and turning all night. That's like a big symptom. Sometimes people just have so much on their mind, they just can't sleep. So finding some way to kind of cope with that. All right, so some tips for coping with anxiety. You got to know what's causing this anxiety. Why am I feeling this way? Because once you narrow down those triggers, then you are more likely to say, well, hey, I know that when I go through this situation, I extremely stress out, I extremely worry. So what can I do different when I'm feeling these triggers? So sometimes some people, they do like to journal, create a playlist of music. Some people like to be more in a social circle when they're feeling like that. Some people share their feelings. They talk to people about what they have going on, and there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's someone you can trust. That's very important, because sometimes you're going through things and you're trying to hold it all in, and it makes it hard to actually deal with it. Some people start exercise, so go out for a walk, take the opportunity to just get some fresh air. That's, can be a good tip for handling anxiety. Make sure that you're sleeping, make sure you're getting your nap in. If you can take a nap, take a nap sometimes. Just take a minute away from what you actually need to do just so you can recharge your batteries. Eat healthy foods. Sometimes when we're going through, we may not want to eat, but then when we eat, we may binge eat or eat junk. So sometimes we got to be careful about what we're eating, because sometimes some foods you put in your body, makes you feel even more kind of sluggish and worn down. Oh, is that all? Okay. So don't forget that, we it's hard to control anxiety, but you can control it. And the biggest thing is just knowing what's at the point in your life got you so stressed out and worried. Because when you realize that, then you're more likely to get better control of it. And I think the biggest thing is, like I said, knowing those triggers, knowing kind of what's what normally causes you to feel stress. For some people, parents not going back to school, the kids going back to school, not having appropriate supplies, or not knowing who's going to pick your child up from school. So just kind of getting those things a plan in life, so you can know, well, hey, I know school starts at this time, so let me make sure I can get this done ahead of time so I'm not feeling stressed. So we just got to kind of be more aware of what we have going on, so that we know when we're feeling these tensions, when we're feeling these muscle aches, that we're taking care of ourselves, and that we need to do what's best for us. You want to add some stuff, Miss Lady Pam?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I don't know. Okay. So what about, and I know you gave us some signs of anxiety. Is there anything different in children? Like, I don't know, you may have some child who maybe they start getting a tummy ache, or is there anything that's different apart from adults and children?
Okay, that's a good point, especially since we're talking about kids going back to school. So, they've been out for a couple of months, so they may say, when school getting ready, they be having that nervous feeling of their stomach is upset, or they may, start to regress some behaviors that they normally hadn't been doing in a while. So just kind of being their body language and how they're reacting to situations is very important. And too, as a parent, just knowing what changed in those last couple of days or last couple of weeks to make that child's behavior start to change, because they do have anxiety, but they can't tell you what's wrong. They may just, oh, I feel sick, or, I'm just not feeling well. And sometimes even as adults, we say that too. Like, we just know something's not right. You have that instinct of, oh, I'm not sure about this. So that's a very good point. Just kind of being aware and having that communication with your child so they can tell you if they're not feeling their best.
Yeah, yeah. When you were talking, I was thinking about this movie. My family loves to watch. It's an older movie, but it's called What About Bob? And I'm gonna get to a question about this. This movie was about this guy who was a client. He was a psychiatric patient, and he could not, if he had to do something new, he had to say in himself baby steps. So he couldn't just take a trip to, Las Vegas. He had to take it one step at a time, and he'll, okay, baby steps, I'm getting into the car. And so you have some people that may be like that. Let's say there is a new situation. There is, they have to go to that, or they have to go to that school, that place that's causing anxiety. And what kind of, we can't get rid of that trigger, so to speak. So what else can people do to, cope, let's just say, get to that destination of, let's say, where they have to go, or to that event? They don't want to go to that particular event, but they got to go. So deep breathing, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I like that. Like you said, taking those baby steps. So when you think about anything new in life, it's going to create some type of uncertainty about. I mean, even a relationship. I mean, so just, having those thoughts of, is this going to work? What can I do different? How can I make things more comfortable for my child or for this situation. So when you walk in the door, you're already feeling nervous because you may not know anybody. So I think the biggest thing is just kind of networking in your community if it is a new school, so your child can learn some other new students that may be in his class, not feeling so nervous. Or if you're going to a new job, just kind of figuring out who works at that place so you can have a new group of coworkers. So I think you just kind of sometimes got to do a little research beforehand so that you can feel more comfortable about a situation. Just like if you decide to go get a new car, 9 out of 10, you're just not gonna go get the first car you see. You're gonna look at, well, do I want this type of car because of maintenance? Do I want this type of car because of color? Do I want this type of car? You're going to kind of research it. So the same thing when you're having issues and you're feeling kind of down, you kind of got to research that, see what's causing that. And then seeing how can I implement those baby steps to put things in place where I'm not feeling that way.
Yeah. And I like what you about planning ahead. And I like to do that. That helps decrease my anxiety. So if it's, let's say the going to school preparing, okay, I have to have the outfit laid out the night before, 2 outfits sometimes when the kids were younger and they would just mess up. I would have 3 outfits laid out just in case somebody messed up something, but I probably was over anxious, but it's planning ahead, like you said, that really helps decrease anxiety. A lot of times things will come up, things happen. And so now we got to navigate around those changes. I guess I have one more question.
I had something funny to say, Lady Pam, when you said planning ahead. I'm still like that, where I still iron my stuff ahead for the week to plan ahead. So definitely plan ahead.
And you're right. It just, it can decrease anxiety so much because, that's something you ain't got to think about. Now I just got to focus on, the event, the occasion, where I have to go. And so that's good stuff. And so I think my last question would be, when does somebody know, like, okay, I need professional help? When is it like a red flag? I really need to get some help to cope?
I think that's definitely a good question, because if you think about it, some people may not know, but basically anxiety can get to the form of depression, where you feeling so down and out that you don't want to do anything at all. So, you don't want to get out of bed, or you don't want to eat, or you're overeating, so sometimes people have high function anxiety where they're just over trying to do things so they don't have time to worry about it. So I think when you feel that chemical imbalance and you just know something's not right, then that's when you may want to seek some mental health help. And it doesn't mean that you're crazy. It just means that you need someone to talk about it. So let's talk about it so that you can be better. And I think that we all know our bodies. We all know what stress could feel like sometimes, and sometimes we don't know. You've heard people say, that person, Lord forbid, when someone has a heart attack and they say they were stressed out, because your body sometimes will react when you're having severe anxiety. And you may go to the doctor and they may run tests and they may say, well, nothing's wrong with you. And then they sometimes say, are you stressed? That's a form of anxiety. So sometimes we worry ourselves to death that can cause us to be in a position where we need to go and talk to someone.
Yeah. Can anxiety cause certain, and you kind of hit on it, some physiological issues like, I don't know, like gallbladder stones or ulcers? That's what I'm thinking of, ulcers. Yeah.
I've heard, they say most people that have ulcers, they got it from worrying. So, I mean, that's what they say. I mean, I'm not MD on that, but that's what they do say, right, that you've heard people. I know the older people say, well, I got ulcers from worrying. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was awesome. I think you had your contact information on that. on that slide, on that last slide?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we can be reached if you want to make an appointment and with TC Counseling, we can be reached at 205-224-4387. And our website is www.tccounselingservices.com.
Awesome. And she has a wonderful website, and you can meet her team of people. And she, just call them, make an appointment, if you need some of that. I think you also do group counseling, individual.
We do individual and family. We were looking to start some groups, and then the pandemic hit, so we hadn't really kicked off doing group counseling yet.
Okay. Okay, awesome. This is wonderful. So I'm going to just touch on a couple of announcements. I am going to share my screen. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if you can. There we go.
Did mine leave for you?
Yeah, I think, and then I think, hit on mine. No, you're good. Let's see.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
All right. And then when we come back after we do these, a couple of announcements, I want you to kind of give us some tips, just to kind of talk about, just to help, just kind of summarize a lot of what you were saying. All right. There we go. Oh, thank you, everyone, for joining us here on today. You just heard from Tammy Cauthen of TC Counseling and Consulting Services. We have had a very interesting discussion about anxiety. So please, if you're just joining in, go back and watch. Sure you share it. Next week, we have a great lineup this entire month, but next week we're going to have Denise Hamilton on. She is the CEO of Watch Her Work. She is phenomenal. And so we're going to talk about handling conflict. A lot of these topics, we're trying to get everybody just getting in the mindset of going back to school. But a lot of these topics are not just for school-age children. These are for anybody. We have Dr. Cree, August the 17th, who's going to talk about staying healthy. That's a big component during this time, staying healthy, what that looks like. We have Dr. Alexia Vaughn, who is going to talk about maintaining eye health, the importance of seeing an optometrist. That's so important. And then we have Janice Robeson. She's going to talk about survival mode, what we got to do to survive here in this space. So please join us every Wednesday of this month at 12 noon Central Standard Time. We are getting ready to get our children off to a great start. We're having our annual Back to School Forum. It's going to be on this Saturday. It's virtual. We have 6 dynamic speakers who are going to talk to every entity of the school system. So we have teachers, principals, police officers, mental health professionals. They're going to talk about how we need to, we're actually going to discuss things pertaining to our students, to parents, safety, just maintaining your mental health, how to handle bullying. So we're going to have a great time this Saturday, which is August the 6th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, here in the virtual space. However you're watching, that's how we're going to be showcasing this. And then get ready for Sunday. We're going to have our back to school celebration. Yes, it is a celebration. Our children are going back to school, but we want to get them off to a great start. We're going to give out school supplies. We're going to have a special anointing service over our children, over our staff. So please come out. Of course, it is our in-person service. We have in-person service the 1st and 3rd of every month. And so we're giving out free diapers, we're giving out our usual items. And so please make sure you plan to attend. It's going to be this Sunday, once again, at 10 a.m. at C.W. Hayes School. And then Pastor Mason is starting a new series on Sunday. It is called the Master's Class on Prayer, the Master's Class on Prayer. And if ever there was a time that we need prayer, it is now. And so please make sure you plan to attend either in person. We will still be virtual as well, but make sure you are either in person or virtual to get this awesome message on the Master Class of Prayer. Don't forget, just a reminder, of course, we have our in-person gathering drive-up service also August the 21st. So make note of that. We have in-person service this Sunday and also on August the 21st. I believe our very last announcement, of course, we have several groups that we have that are going on Birmingham Bible Church virtually. We are getting ready to launch a new one. It's going to be our financial group. We're going to compose this group of some of the greatest people when it comes to finances, budgeting, investing, saving. And so we're going to compose this group. We're going to add some people in it who've already reached out to us and say, hey, we want to be a part of it. But send us an email at finance@bhambc.org. That's finance@bhambc.org. Every month we will upload a video from one of our speakers, and they're going to give you some great information that you will be able to implement immediately. So that is what we're doing. Of course, those are all the announcements that I have right now. So of course, thank you, Tammy, for joining us here on today. This was wonderful.
Thank you. So like we were saying, just make sure that you have those coping skills in place. So when you're feeling worried, just make sure you're taking your time out. You're identifying your triggers, making sure that you know that, something may be a little off balance so that you can talk to someone if you need to.
Thank you so much. And y'all have the contact information. So it becomes a little bit overwhelming. Make sure you talk to Tammy and her people. So thank you so much. Listen, guys, make sure you have a great day. Continue to be safe. Continue to sanitize. That is so important. Wash your hands and sanitize. Wash your hands and sanitize. And just have a great rest of your week. We love y'all, and we will see y'all next time. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you, Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.